how are you?
Hi, I'm doing okay.
Good to see you.
Thanks, it's good to see you as well.
Okay, good. Well, before we start, I'd like to start with a mood check, as we've been doing each session. So as we think about last week, you were talking about being worried and stuff like that. How do you think you feel right now as compared to last week? On a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being worried or 10 being 0 being not worried and 10 being very worried.
I reckon I'm about probably about a 6.
A 6 right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just with work and stuff.
Alright, so that's still pretty high, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to climb down.
Yeah, last week I think you were at a 7, so.
It's getting a little better.
Yeah.
So,
that's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so, I'm just going to talk about the agenda, about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, what we put on the agenda last time, the different things that you wanted to talk about, and then we're also, if anything came up this week or anything you'd like to talk about, we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay.
And, let's see, and yeah, I'll ask you for some feedback, and, we'll summarize what we talked about today. And, yeah, is there anything else you would like to add to the agenda as far as that goes?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay, yeah, so we'll talk about the homework that we talked about last time, too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, just in a few sentences, can you give me a little bit of an update from last week?
Okay. Well, as you know, it's the whole job thing that's really just stressing me out. I'm worried about it, really anxious. But as far as, being an update, we use the automatic thought chart, and I was able to kind of relate to that in some ways. But I guess being able to identify those thoughts that we talked about last week, which is still they're stuck there, is kind of lowered my stress levels whenever I can see it and remind myself, what's true and what's not, kind of stuff like that. Still working, I still have my job, I'm still a store manager. So, the week's been good, I haven't got any bad reviews, but the district manager is coming in now.
Oh.
So I'm kind of itching back up there to the more worried side. So
that would make sense how that would happen.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Okay, so you said you were able to do the homework and that helped you a little bit just because you can figure out the thoughts you were having.
Right, yeah. I was able to, you gave me that chart to kind of fill out and write whenever, I was having those negative thoughts about myself or and in that way I was able to not just think those things but also visualize them, which kind of put me in perspective, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So, excuse me.
Well, yeah. It's okay. Well, I'll go ahead and write that down, the whole thing about the district manager. Is that something you'd like to talk about? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
That's upcoming.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add to what we'll talk about today?
Well, we've got the anxiety. I guess self-confidence. I'm a little low on that too.
Okay.
So maybe we can pump that up a little bit.
Okay. And when you bring up self-confidence, is it more like in the context of work or is it something else?
I would say it starts at work. Just because, I'm trying to be the best manager I can be. But it also kind of outflows to my personal relationships and stuff like that. Like, I want to be confident and sociable and everything like that, but I just kind of get down on myself.
Right, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Well, okay, so that's the updates. As far as the homework that, you already told me that it was already pretty helpful. But you also said you were getting stuck at some points. Is that?
Yeah. It's like I can identify these thoughts, and I can write them down and put myself in perspective. However, I still think them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're still there, and so I struggle with, I guess, the belief of it, or, if it's, I'm thinking it so much, is it real, kind of stuff like that. So,
were you able to notice the situations or the times that you got these thoughts that were not positive?
Yeah. It was, if I forgot something to do something at work, or, I was able to use that thought chart at that point, or, mainly forgetting to do things, worrying about customer reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of whenever I was able to go and use that. Or if a customer just looked unhappy, I'd be like, well, crap, I'm not good enough for this. So, I don't know, just stuff like that.
Okay, so you were able to identify the thoughts in those situations. That's really good. That piece of it, is good. Okay, well, let's go ahead and prioritize the agenda for today.
Okay.
You have a lot of things that you want to talk about, but is there something that's more important? Because you talked about the district manager that's coming, and also self-confidence, but also anxiety. Is there one that you want to focus on completely?
I think probably the anxiety that goes along with the district manager coming together. We could talk about that one first.
Okay.
And then move into self-confidence.
All right. We'll go ahead and tackle that one today then.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So go ahead and tell me more about just this whole thing, the whole anxiety at work and stuff like that.
The worrying about the district manager? Oh, mercy. Well, I get very, I struggle with self-confidence and anxiety anyways, and I'm put in this head position, and now the district manager is coming, and I don't feel like I'm fulfilling my duties already, even though people say I am. But, I have a higher up coming in, and they're going to be watching my every move and seeing if I'm capable of sticking with this job, or if I can excel anymore in my career, or if I'm just going to be stuck as store manager all the time. The district manager, he's pretty cool and everything like that. It still just makes me nervous. Also got one bad customer review. And that's just kind of, I'm scared about what he's going to say about that. And I don't know if the customer was just having a bad day, because I thought I did my job, but I don't know. So that kind of hit me in the knees a little bit.
Well, I'm noticing that you have a lot of different thoughts that are associated with that anxiety. Like you're saying, I don't know if this means I'm a bad store manager or different things like that. What would you say is the main thought that you get whenever you're faced with something that causes you to be anxious, like the bad customer review?
My main thought.
Yeah.
I should find a new career.
Okay.
I'm not capable of being, being a higher up or doing my job efficiently. I'm not good enough, basically.
Okay. So you're saying if I get a bad customer review, I'm not a good enough manager.
It's just how I feel, I guess. That's just what I think, which in turn makes me feel kind of anxious.
Okay, so it makes you feel anxious.
Yeah.
How much do you think you believe this thought about yourself?
I don't wholeheartedly believe it. I think it just kind of gets you down a little bit. Because I think I do pretty well. But it's not a whole...
Let's say, on a scale from 0 to 100%, how much do you believe it? On that?
Probably about a 40.
40%?
Yeah, maybe 50 sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Just depends.
Yeah.
The customer review kind of put me down.
Yeah.
But on better days, I guess you could say I'm around a 40, where I'd be all right, I'm pretty good at what I do.
Okay. Is there other things that contribute or make you be more anxious, as far as store manager and stuff like that?
Making sure everybody is on task all the time. Making sure I'm on task and not forgetting things, which I do sometimes. Worrying about what other people have to say. I guess I worry too much about what people say. Being my own critic. About, wondering if I gave it my all.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Which one do you think is the highest one from all those, like, that, really make you anxious about, because you were saying, like, oh, maybe I'm not good at this, I shouldn't be doing this.
Probably feedback and being my own critic.
Oh, okay.
That would probably be my biggest problem sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned that, sometimes when you get that bad customer review that you got, you believe that to about 40%, which is still pretty high,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and evaluate that a little bit. You said actually just now, you said like, oh, maybe they were having a bad day, or you were exploring alternate, responses.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Okay. Well, I understand that this contributes for you to this makes you feel more anxious. That's what you said, right? But if you actually, sometimes in CBT, we talked about how thoughts influence, our emotions and the perceptions we have, and sometimes influence our behavior as well. So whenever you were able to, or you said you weren't able to complete the whole thought chart, but if you were able to complete that thought chart, what would you say are evidence for and evidence against that thought?
I gotta put things in perspective. My evidence is, I guess, I would probably use the poor feedback that I got back from the employee. Like, I would use that as far as, this is why you're not good enough. Because I'm always going to see that review, and it's like right there in words saying, you were cruddy at this. And so that's kind of difficult to overlook, I guess you could say. But as far as the other evidence is, I don't know. It probably, I don't know. I can't really identify anything else.
Okay. How about we think about, I mean, is there other situations that have led you to feel that way as well?
Whenever I forget things at work sometimes, like if I'm closing and I'm in a hurry because I want to get out of work, sometimes I'll forget things. And so, the manager in the morning might come in and be like, hey, you forgot to do this, and it left me in a bundle because I have all this thing to do, and I'm trying to pick up where you didn't finish your job. And so that kind of puts me in a, feel like I'm not good enough because I forgot to do one thing.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. That
makes sense. Well, how about I just thought about this, let's move outside of work, because I feel like what I'm getting is that, you're saying if all these bad things happen, then, I'm just anxious about my job or being a store manager. Is there other situations and like maybe somewhere outside of work where it causes you to feel that way as well?
Oh, that kind of leads into probably the whole self-confidence thing. I get a little anxious as far as, I guess, keeping people close to me in ways, which affects my social life, I guess you could say. And sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough to hold a conversation with somebody, or I see a cute guy sitting down somewhere, and I'm like, whoop, I want to go talk to him, but I'm not good enough to go over there and talk to this person. Excuse me. And so, that kind of, I guess that correlates
Mm-hmm.
with the whole work thing as well, and being anxious about things and not feeling like I'm good enough in those perspectives.
Okay.
I don't know, just some self-confidence things.
Yeah. Okay, so Cassandra, I'm gonna ask you. Let's say it's hypothetical, but if you had a friend of yours that was going through the same situation, how do you think? What is something that you would tell them?
I would remind them of all the good qualities that they have,
Mm-hmm.
and that one mishap doesn't mean that they're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're doing. I'm eating my words right now. But I'd be like, hey, here's all your good qualities. Like, here's why you are good enough. Here's why you made it to store manager.
Mm-hmm.
Remind them of their accomplishments and pray about it. Ease that anxiety. Some things are out of their control.
Mm-hmm.
We can't control everything. Have a task list.
Yeah.
Make sure that you complete that at night so the morning manager can come in and be hunky-dory. We're really just reminding them of the kind of person that they are and why they're in the higher position that they're in, because they obviously have to have responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be goal-oriented. Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff like
So
that.
you mentioned a lot of things on that. You said, first of all, look at the other qualities that you have and the things that made you be to the place that you are, right?
Mhm.
Because there's a reason that you are in the place that you
Right.
are, right?
Yes.
So what would you say those qualities are?
My own personal qualities?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like to boast about myself,
Mhm.
but I worked hard to get where I am. I went to school to get a business degree so I could be a manager and do things correctly. Timely for the most part, unless I just forget something. Responsible, I have to be a leader to my crew.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Goal-oriented, pace myself.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Okay. So when you think about those things, how much do you believe that thought then that I'm not good enough?
Well, now that you put it like that, I am where I am for a reason.
Like on a scale from 0 to 100%. Let's say that.
Oh, I don't believe it that much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's still like maybe 20%, just because it's that human doubt in me. But I know whenever you put it like that, it helps me realize that they're not very valid thoughts, are they?
They're not.
No.
So I can be a good enough store manager.
Right. I can be. I am a good enough store manager. That's why I'm in my position.
Well, see, those are great things, and I'm glad you're able to realize those good qualities about yourself.
Thank you.
I think that exercise, helps, because I would see that you, if you were outside of your situation, maybe you would see things different.
Yeah. Step outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking that might be a good activity for next week, a homework activity. You said writing down in the chart helped, but maybe what's going to help you, well, maybe we should evaluate the thoughts, because I think you said you didn't complete that part.
No, not completely.
Okay. So maybe explaining alternate solutions or alternate reasons for or explanations, I think, for your thoughts. Sorry.
Okay.
But if you write those down, I think that will help. We can review them next week to see, what they are. Because, right now when we were talking, you were kind of having a hard time coming up with evidence for or against those thoughts. But, maybe that will help. And if not, we can just discuss it.
Okay.
And, next time you come in. Does that sound like a good activity for you?
I think so. Yeah, that'll keep me focused on the positives and keep my mind redirected to what I actually am, as opposed to not being good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that'll be helpful.
Okay, and how about maybe like some sort of reminder of like the good qualities you have, and maybe kind of like a reinforcement of that you're in the right place. Like you have all these great things about you. There's been maybe like writing like sticky notes, or
Okay.
do you think that would help, or
Yeah, just kind of post them everywhere to remind myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I could do that. Bathroom mirror, car steering.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. All right, so we'll put that on for the homework of this week.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And well, we're almost at the end of the session, but I think we talked a lot about like, explored a little bit more the problem of like the anxiety and different things that are going on with that, and we also talked about other things that you want to talk about maybe further in the other sessions.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can go ahead and just well, we have those written down, I guess, already, but like, I'm glad we were able to talk about that, and we also explored alternate solutions for it, and like homework assignments, and seeing how that would help. So I think we're on the right track.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to come in and work on this. So, is there, what is something that you think you would like to add to the session so they can be more effective or be better for you?
I think you did a good job hitting all the points and helping me, realize and put myself in perspective. So, I think if we stay on this right track, we'll be golden.
Okay.
So.
Well, great. Well, it was good to see you again, and I'll see you next week.
Alrighty, have a good week.
Thanks, you too.